My 40-second Black Watch are, I wouldn't say done, but they're almost done. I'm currently working on the backpacks. Heads are done, they just need to be attached. The rear rank has all been sorted out. Again, they just need heads and backpacks. Command group is done. I'm just sorting out the front rank. I have got their arms ready to go, they just need putting onto their figures. So we shall travel across the globe to that most fantastical place of ever, Japan, where you know, someone always wants to do samurai, because fully armoured knights apparently isn't fun and fantastical enough. Yeah, so yeah, I kind of like it. It's 1 second. Just move some of the stuff out the background out the way. Gordon Bennett, they are really far apart from each other, aren't they? Yeah, there we go. So another little passion project where I decided I want to do a bit of samurai. I looked at, with this project, I was looking at doing either what you see here, so small bands of samurai warriors or monks or whatever I could get my hands on, fighting each other, or possibly going into large armies. When I looked at the large armies, I was probably going to go 15 mil, but there's just, for some reason, nothing just seemed to click with me. And then I managed to get my hands on a copy of the Ronin rules from Osprey, read through it, and I went, you know what, that works for me. It's very much, each figure is an individual. They act independently as is needed, and they can basically do what you need them to do when and where. They duel and things like that, which is kind of interesting because I've had several games with these figures. Norm, when he was in the club, he got his hands on a lot of these figures from Warlords because, as I will explain in a minute, and he also set up a ninja group, and we had a fight between, I think it was these guys and the ninjas, and I managed to win. Barely. It was very bloody, and the ninjas, everyone was very badly wounded by the time the final fight came down, the last stand of the Hatamoto. This is I did actually, you know what, the depressing thing is, this is the first of my two little Bushis, warbands. I did actually set them up along the line, hence the reason why they're all in blue with the white flags. However, I cannot remember what it was supposed to be. I can't remember the name of the clan, so I'm just going to go with this is the blue clan. It's literally red, or I should say red and blue. All the figures here have come from, well, I'll say they are all, the sculpts are from, I'm trying to remember what the company was called. They got eaten by Warlords. Not Wargames Atlantic, they're doing something else. Wargames Factory, that was it. Wargames Factory. They did a very nice selection of figures. I saw that they did samurai, and I thought, you know what? I like the figures. I like the sculpts. They're very nice molds. So I thought I'll get my hands on some of these. And by the time I managed to get around to it, they'd sort of been eaten by Warlords. So I had to. I ended up acquiring these at €5 a sprue from some guys at a convention. Except for the Hatamoto, the cavalry figures. They were given to me very kindly by my friend Norm because he bought one of the box sets from Warlords, which ironically is they're the Wargames Factory figures, and he very kindly let me have two of the figures with their horses. So I went, you know what, I'll take that. So I got my hands on them, built them up, and I added a cavalryman to each of the warbands. So my blue warband comprises of 3 Ashigara with ranged weapons, in this case 2 Yumis, the bows, and a Teppo, the arquebus. Then 3 Ashigara with Yaris, spears or pikes. In fact, these are still classified as spears. There are longer pikes in the rules in Ronin, but that's only really used by one of the other warbands. There are then 2 samurai. The one on the left, the one holding with both hands, is supposed to be armed with a nodachi, which is a longer blade, like a hand and a half sword or a two-handed sword. And then the one on the right here, he's got a normal katana. Then we have the commander of the group. He has got a proper title. He would normally run as a Hatamoto, dismounted, but I think I've run him as something else. He's got I think it's the jacket on. He He has his katana and stuff, and then he's got the more ornate decorations on top of his helmet. And then the Hatamoto, the horse guard, because you have to have a hat in order for Ronin. In order to have a mounted figure, you have to rank them as a Hatamoto. He has a yari, so a lance or a spear, and then he's got his armor. He has got swords and that on his other side. He says he's got them. Yes, they are there. And again, he's in a lighter blue with green on his horse. And then moving over to the red team. So we'll start over here. So again, 3 Ashigara with yaris, with their spears. 2 samurai. The one on the right with the helmet ornamentation is in theory the commander of this group. It's a slightly different orientated group. So both have samurai. Both have katanas. Then in the background we have part of the range group, which is the 2 archers with their yumis. An Ashigara commander, so this is basically an Ashigara officer. He is not a samurai, so he has a... So he only carries... In theory, he carries only 1 sword, but I think I might have messed it up when I did that. But he is essentially just... He is just a peasant. He is a peasant, but he is a commander of peasants. Then, in this case, this army has 2 teppos. And then their Hatamoto, which is green and red with a bit of blue, because you get to... Samurai are actually kind of colourful in some respects. The book I had have them as being... They tend to wear kind of colourful clothing. It's all dependent, hence the reason why there's a little bit more randomness with these guys, whereas with this lot, I sort of went with the netting on their... netting? I'm trying to think how you describe it. The ties on their armour plate are a little bit more subdued, so are their colours, but then the commander's sort of kind of bright, as is the Hatamoto. It's all work, it's all legitimate. Again, armour can be red, black or brown, as I understand it, because it's the lacquer they put onto it. Clothing can be, in some cases with these guys, it's very much black uniforms. They're Ashigara, they're peasants. It's sort of single colour. You don't want them being too brightly coloured because no one cares. Again, it's that feudal thing. I'm the lord. I'm the one who has to be pretty. I'm the one everybody has to be able to see. So that's how they do it. Again, if someone actually knows more about this, then they correct me. I'm more than happy to learn or have a better understanding of it. So the red band again. Yeah, all the figures, they come, again, the bodies are pretty much, with these figures, the bodies are one piece, arms, heads, and accoutrements like the katanas, swords and such are extras. I think the sprues I got did give me some weapon options, but a lot of it was just swords and stuff rather than anything like the halberds, styles and stuff like that to give to the samurai. But I wanted to keep the samurai relatively, I wouldn't say stereotypical, but swords are generic, and I always thought, yeah, because if I started giving them too many weird and wonderful weapons, they just get very expensive in the game. Yeah, this so my red band, as you may notice, they're both roughly the same number in strength, but this band has more Ashigara to samurai, whereas this band is a little bit more elite, hence the reason why there's essentially 3 samurai, so 3 nobles or 4 nobles. And then almost as many Ashigara, so slightly less. And then, as I said, this one's essentially got 3 nobles, and the remainder are all sort of peasant troops. The idea being that I can also, with these forces, I can also move people around. I can reorganize it, because again, the rules do have, for the samurai bushis, you can have pure samurai forces, but then everything has to be samurai, so they call it rank 2 or rank 3, I think it is, for the samurai. So these guys, the commanders, the Hatamoto and stuff, that's all you field. It's very elite but very expensive. Or you can have a force which, as long as you have a leader character, I think the Ashigara commander counts as a leader, though I'd have to check the book. But in theory, you probably have a single or 1 or 2 samurai, and then you could have a lot of these Ashigara troops, who again have the ability to put down a lot of fire. They're not stupid. Sorry, not stupid. They are not incompetent. They are not completely overdone by samurai. I have played the game. I have played these games several times, and the Ashigara can overwhelm a samurai quite quickly. Again, it comes down to a certain extent of luck of the dice, how you organise your attack and defence counters, as the game runs off counters for everything. So if you have attack counters, you can make it, or you can improve your attacks. You can make attacks. If you have defence counters, you can always defend, but then it improves your defence. One quick sweep round. So Ashigara with their various weapons, samurai in the red, Ashigara and samurai. Yeah, this one is, I may increase the force. I have been wanting to add some, a group of monks, so men with the halberd-like weapons, and potentially get myself some characters such as people who can basically step in for characters like Samurai Jack and Lone Wolf and Cub, because I'm from the 80s. You know, so half my television viewing is sort of mid to late 80s and 90s. Because once the mid 90s came around, I was kind of getting too old for TV and was looking more and more going off and doing stuff outside, or at least, you know, like work. Right, I shall leave it there then.